upset. You just gotta breathe. We both just gotta breathe. Cow. I gotta go, Julia. We got cows. Another cow.
Actually, I think that was the same one.
In a dark corner of the world, three men will work together to bring you a podcast like no other. This is Fanatically Correct, where the fans, the geeks, and the nerds are always correct. With your host, MSK, Yo Peace, and Omega.
This is a Fanatically Correct special report. We are here, Fanatically Correct, out in the middle of Hurricane Matthew. The wind is blowing, trees are falling, and all we can think is, what a horrible genre disaster films are. They are watchable at best. No, but seriously, the three of us were fortunate. Our areas were not impacted severely at all by Hurricane Matthew, so our thoughts out to those who are. But figured do a little bonus material and just do a quick disaster film genre.
The best genre
segment.
of them all.
Yeah. Like we said, it's hard. Disaster films are not probably the best genre for us fans, geeks, and nerds. But we're gonna take a whack at it and throw out some of the ones we think are the most watchable of them, and we'll go from there. But
that's very tough to say.
So we're gonna start with the best disaster film.
Is there? They're all kind of in the same pile.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the obvious worst. The worst ones are like those Sharknadoes and like why?
Yeah, those aren't real though. Those aren't real disaster films.
At least they're making fun of
I guess-
themselves. You know, they're realistic.
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
not taking. Yeah, they're not taking themselves too serious.
I think I would go to the top one. Twister is probably the first disaster movie, at least our generation, that comes to mind when you think of disaster movie. We jump straight to Twister.
Twister. Yeah, that's number one. Yeah.
Good CGI.
This list is pretty quick. Yep.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a short episode.
And that was it. We're done. Actually, that most recent one, San Andreas, the one with The Rock. Besides,
It was good.
Besides The
I like
Rock,
that
it's
one.
actually good. Yeah, for the genre, that was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It had same thing, decent actors, decent plot for this. It's always the same plot in those movies. Guy has to get his family, or woman has to get her family and get them out of the disaster. But
Yeah, but the girl that played the Rock's daughter looks nothing like him.
no,
At all.
and she barely looks like the wife either. So I don't know.
No, yeah, I know,
The
at all.
storyline, she was adopted. Yeah, everything he touches is decent. He has a hard time making a bad movie. I think Doom, that's it. That's the only bad thing he's done. But yeah,
those Disney ones
he's
that
he's gotten those Disney ones too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that Escape from Witch Mountain. There's a remake, right? I think
No, that one's actually not bad.
Yeah, those are actually
no,
okay. Yeah, those are actually okay.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
the
you're
one he
talking
was like
like-
the Tooth Fairy. The Tooth Fairy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the name of it.
And the one where he's a football player and has a daughter that he adopts her, or that's his actual daughter and finds out that he has a daughter, something like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
another
something
one.
like that. Well, whatever. That's a disastrous film. Is that considered a disaster?
Those
film?
are The Rock's disaster movies.
Speaking of disaster movies, I actually saw Ghostbusters today.
That's a nuclear disaster movie.
Yeah, it was terrible. What a terrible.
Be clear,
movie.
it's the new Ghostbusters. The new Ghostbusters.
Oh man.
Wow.
Why?
Talk about the perfect storm of films.
Look at you.
Oh, The Perfect Storm.
Actually, that's a good. You know what? That's a good one. That's actually a solid.
That
film.
is a good one. That is a good one.
That is
yeah.
a solid. George
Who's in
Clooney,
that?
Mark Wahlberg's in
Who's
that
in
one
that
too,
again?
right? George
Yeah.
Clooney, I think, was in that
Yeah.
one, and Mark Wahlberg, I think.
And Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
That's when Mark
Isn't Mark
Wahlberg started acting.
Yeah. So what's he doing? Perfect Storm Part 2. He's got another one coming out where he's like out in the ocean in the middle.
Oh
of
no,
the-
he's
the
like an oil.
rig
He
fields.
works in the oil rig. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a sequel. I thought they didn't make it.
That should
in
be
the-
pretty good. I like Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, Perfect Storm actually is a solid disaster film. It's actually a solid film. I mean, same thing. It's not like a big pop
George
iconic
Clooney is
film.
in that one, right? George Clooney was in that one.
Yeah, I think he was the main character in that one. It had a handful of people in it. It was good. It was decent. But
So that's
yeah,
at the top too. That's up there with Twister.
Yeah. Let's see. You got. Well, I guess if we get like spacey, Deep Impact is a pretty good one.
Yeah, that one's good. Morgan Freeman.
Yeah. Elijah Wood.
Should you consider?
I wouldn't consider like Armageddon a disaster movie because most of it takes place in space. So that's more of a sci-fi space film, and I wouldn't touch like King Kong.
I see it as a disaster movie, but that's just
Well,
me.
look, I feel like if you edit Armageddon and Deep Impact, it's pretty much the same story.
It could be
but
the
one
same
deals
film.
with the stuff happening on Earth, and one deals the space.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
Yeah,
something.
Deep Impact touches on it. It's a smaller sub story. Where Armageddon, that's the main story. Because Deep Impact had
Right.
several stories. You had Elijah Wood's character, the one who discovered it, and him and his girlfriend trying to get out of there. Then you had the whole President of the United States thing, and him and his people, and him calming the public with the news reporter, her story of her trying to get her family out of there. So it's like sub stories. Where Armageddon was only about the group that was stopping the asteroid from hitting the Earth, and they saved the
I
day.
think if you edited,
yeah.
if you put them together, it would make a great movie.
Yeah, I think we
pretty
should
much.
Do it.
Well, the crew from Armageddon was better than the crew from Deep Impact because the crew from Deep Impact, half of it did hit the Earth and took out wiped out like billions of lives. Armageddon stopped the whole thing from happening. It was just a shower of
the crew from Deep Impact just died, right? They just
they didn't make
do
it back
anything.
either. None of them.
They didn't make it back.
It was a deep impact.
Yeah, it was a deep impact on my heart. What?
That was bad.
That was a rough one.
That was bad.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry again, Great Britain.
Yeah, no, and Armageddon. Armageddon. That's also when Ben Affleck was not a good actor. That was
for real.
That was during his Reindeer Games era, Daredevil sprint.
So he's considered a good actor now.
He's a better actor, good director.
Okay. There it is.
So, anyways,
Better
disaster
director.
films. Yeah, Volcano, 2012.
Oh, Volcano. Which one was that one? I don't remember.
That's
that
Tommy
one.
Lee Jones. It's like Dante's Peak, but with Tommy Lee Jones instead of James Bond.
I remember Dante's Peak more actually.
Me too.
Yeah.
For some reason, just Volcano doesn't come to my head at all.
It's
James
weird.
Bond. That's
It's
why.
weird.
Dante's Peak was James Bond. That's why.
Maybe.
Pierce Brosnan ish. I think
those two movies are exactly the same too, though.
and I think
pretty
they came
much
out
the
around the
same
same
thing.
time. Yeah, just like Deep Impact
Yeah.
and Armageddon was one of those two for competing studio situations.
Yeah, that's Hollywood at its best. That's what that is.
Yes.
That's horrible.
Actually,
That's horrible when they do that.
have either of you ever seen The Impossible?
Yeah, that's with Hugh McGregor, right?
Yes, and Spider-Man, Tom Holland. That's where he got his
Spider-Man,
start.
yeah, that's right.
And actually,
right.
that's
That's a good
actually a
movie.
very good film. It's a post-disaster
Yeah.
film, though, more. Because it's after a typhoon or a tsunami or whatnot.
That's
so
a
it's
true
more of
story.
It is, and actually well acted, and just like Perfect Storm, it's actually a solid drama. So I give more of a credit to that. That's also a decent disaster film to watch. Not one that has any memorable dialogue or action sequence or anything like that. You would watch it over and over again, but for a good one-time watch, solid film. Worth it. Titanic.
Yeah, I don't remember that movie. What movie and who's in that movie? First of all, because
Which one? The Impossible? What's her name? The one from the King Kong with Jack Black.
Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts, Ian McGregor, and then that's where Tom Holland kind of blew up from. He was a lot younger. He was like 11 or something like that in that film. And it's from a true story, based story of family that gets separated during a tsunami or typhoon that wipes through Thailand on vacation, and then them trying to reunite and find each other.
Oh, yes. Actually, I do remember that movie.
Yeah, it's decent. It's better than that's why I was
it's-
jumping to Titanic.
Yeah, that's the one that when the actual tsunami happened. It took
Yes.
place in the same place. Yeah, I remember that movie.
Well, what about the older disaster films like The Towering Inferno?
There you go. I've never seen it.
You remember that?
I've heard of it. I've heard of a lot, and it's supposed to be like a very iconic disaster film, an iconic firefighting film, but I don't think
I
I've ever
barely
seen it.
remember that. That's what's this guy's first movie? OJ. OJ was in that.
I've never seen it. I've heard of it over and over again. I go to Universal Studios and see all the posters or whatnot, but never myself have actually.
They still have that up. They have those disaster film posters.
Yeah,
up
by
in
the I think they put them up over by the earthquake area. I mean, they changed that right up completely. Now it's got Christopher Walken, and it's more of a knockoff cheesy disaster filming ride.
Yeah, making fun of it.
Exactly, they're making fun of it, which is a lot smarter. When before it was earthquake, and they're trying to be more serious about the classic disaster films like Earthquake, Towering Inferno, Poseidon Adventure, things like that. Speaking of Poseidon Adventure, there's like 8 of those movies. There is so many Poseidon.
Yeah, I don't think
films.
I've seen any of them.
Yeah, Poseidon Adventure doesn't sound familiar at all, to be honest.
I saw the original when I was like a teenager. It was like a rerun on. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't even know if it was the original. I don't think it's the original. I think it's like the 3rd installment or something like that. That had Gene Hackman, and I watched that when I was like in middle school, and my uncle had it on. It was on reruns, and to him that's a classic film. So I sat through it, and then he remade it again with Kurt Russell, and I thought about seeing it, but I didn't. It just didn't catch my interest. And then Yo Peace was researching it. We were talking about the Poseidon. And he's talking about one with Alan Baldwin or Adam Baldwin, one of the Baldwin, the non-famous Baldwin brothers. And I'm like, no, it had
the non-good one.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, it had Kurt Russell and another actor that's pretty popular. But he wasn't finding it. He was finding this other one, and within a year of apart, you had one made for TV and another one released in theaters. Within a year apart.
Really, a year apart. Like, what is that? Like, is that movie like? Is this disaster really like crazy to tell a story over and over again? Like, was it really good? Because I need to watch it now.
It's a crazy story. I mean, the ship gets completely topsided, upside down, and then they gotta work their way swimming, from channel to channel and finding wherever there's oxygen so they can get to a point where they can get out of the ship. Find a porthole or somewhere to get out, and then hoping when they get out that there's hopefully help on the other side by then, and that they're not completely submerged. But
that doesn't sound bad.
No, it's not. It's not a bad premise. It's just usually those films have a hard time executing a good solid story because they focus so much on the disaster and the action and the the falling down and the people running for their lives. Where usually those are things that are good for moments in a film as opposed to being the whole film. But,
to be fair, that's what I was hoping in Titanic for, and I got the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. Titanic did the opposite.
Yeah, Titanic should have been a disaster film.
They did the opposite. They focused too much on the story and the romance as opposed to the disaster part. So they had the opposite direction of the chemistry. Yeah. It's
crazy that the best person in that movie is Billy Zane.
Yep.
In Titanic.
Yep, because he's
the best actor in that movie.
Because then that's not when I was not a Leonardo DiCaprio fan then. At all.
No, he wasn't good yet.
Nope.
He was for me. He wasn't great yet. Now he's great.
And what's funny is now he could play that part. Now he plays that part with his eyes closed with no problem. He is that part now. Those 1920s, 1930s.
Yeah, he didn't fit in back then.
But then he did not fit that. He did not fit that role at all. And Billy Zane, where is he now? Like, seriously?
Yeah, it's a sci-fi movie. Who knows?
He's like the best actor in that film. Yet Leonardo DiCaprio gets all the clout.
We should start that hashtag. Where is Billy Zane? Like, we just started.
Where's Billy Zane? Yeah, Billy Zane. If you're out there, man, we'd love you on the podcast. Straight up.
I'd interview him in a heartbeat. There's a lot of things he did that I liked. The Phantom, great.
Yeah,
that's my number one choice right there.
Did you guys ever see Demon Knight, the Tales from the Crypt one? It's actually a good movie. Got a pretty wild story.
I'll tell you what. I'll take Billy Zane as Lex Luthor any day.
Over
Jesse Eisenberg.
Of course.
Well, obviously.
Speaking of disasters, are we back to that?
Disaster? No. We already finished that. That's it. It's over.
I don't think we did. I think we need to seek therapy because it comes up a lot.
It comes up a lot.
Trust me. I'm on my 6th month of therapy. No more.
I need to hold up a Batman doll in a therapist's office and show me where Jesse Eisenberg hurt you, and I point to my heart.
No. He broke my heart.
You're breaking my heart.
Other disaster film.
I'd take Natalie Portman as a better Lex Luthor. Why are we back on Lex Luthor?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Day After Tomorrow. That was a pretty good one.
That was not bad. That's the one with Jake Gyllenhaal, right?
Jake Gyllenhaal, yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal and what's this guy's name? Dennis Quaid.
Yes. He always plays the dad. Plays the dad. Frequency.
Yeah, he's a good dad. He's a good dad.
He's a great dad.
He always does.
He's a great dad.
He's a great dad.
But he's been playing the dad. He's been playing the 40-year-old dad for like the last 40 years. Was he born 40? Like,
40 years. Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of disasters, they got that Frequency television series now. I don't know about that.
I haven't. No.
Man,
I'm not
frequency. Is...
We'll touch on that movie. We'll touch on that movie for time travel purposes.
Yeah.
Great dad.
Yeah.
He's such a great dad. He's a great dad.
He is. He's the
Dennis Quaid.
Yes.
Dennis Quaid is awesome.
Yes, he's a great dad.
Dennis Quaid is awesome.
Think about it though. Think about it. Whenever you can, just think about it. Reflect on that.
He's not a disaster of a dad. So yeah, that's disaster movies.
All right, man. I don't know my dad. What do you want me to do?
I'm gonna stop talking. Stop.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man. No, Dennis Quaid is awesome. He's awesome. Hey, you know what movie's also similar? 2012. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah. That's a good one. John Cusack.
Yeah.
A lot of CGI.
Not that great.
A lot of big moments.
Not that great. No, that movie sucks. That movie
sucks. It was a very overhyped.
That movie's not that great.
Very overhyped disaster film.
And I like John Cusack, man. I really do. It's just not
Yeah.
that. He shouldn't be doing movies like that. He shouldn't be doing movies like that.
Oh man.
Especially at that time. He's got John Cusack talking about disasters also. He's done. He takes curves, man. That guy will go on a good, straight, steady speed of a bunch of good films, and then drop a few bad ones.
I just think he doesn't know what he should be doing now, at his age. Because before it was the romantic comedy, but now he's going a little too old for that. So I don't know.
Grosse Point Blank was awesome.
Grosse Point Blank, High Fidelity was good. That one's a good movie.
Good.
Yeah. A lot of his earlier stuff is good.
2012, man, they really overhyped that movie. I remember that was like 2 years before it came out. So like in 2010, they already like showing that scene with the monk, the Tibetan monk getting hit by a tidal wave.
Yeah.
Like 2012, and just like cashing in on everyone's fears. There's another one like Twister, because I think Twister's kind of like the top of the food chain.
Is this a Netflix movie? Because that movie's not that good.
Yeah, it's probably Tornado or something. What is it?
No, I think it was Into the Storm or something like that. That it had some good CGI on the actual tornadoes themselves, but it was like a high school reunion or something like that while it was happening, and then and it was very similar to Twister. I think I caught some of it.
I'll tell you what. Twister was the biggest product placement for cars.
Oh yeah.
Was it all the bad guys were driving Dodge Rams and all the good guys were driving Ford pickup trucks? It's blatant. It's blatant product placement in that movie.
Twister's not that good. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's
okay.
It's still a disaster film. It's still okay. That's what I'm saying. It's a rough genre. It's not really a fanboy, nerd epic type of genre. That's not. I mean, like I said, unless you guys are going to the alien films or the monster films that have a disaster element to it, then you start getting to that caliber.
It's a
straight
genre.
Natural disaster film. Yeah, it's rough.
It's rough.
So
Twister's not bad. Day After Tomorrow's not bad. Yeah.
Perfect Storm, like we said before earlier. Perfect Storm was good. Titanic, very meh.
Hard Rain.
So, yeah.
Hard
Did you ever
Rain.
see that?
I don't remember. Is that with Christian Slater?
And Morgan Freeman. See, that should always be the first guy you bring up in any movie like that has.
Yeah, I guess Morgan Freeman would be the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. How did you go? How did you go there first?
I know. Well, at least Christian Slater now and Mr. Robot, he's
that's
kinda,
why. That's why I was thinking about him.
Yeah, he's back in line. But yeah, that was like, I don't know. Morgan Freeman went through his little spout too, where he was in between being that great voice that everybody want to have him in all their great films to, and he was just doing a lot of those smaller parts. James Earl Jones happens the same thing. He does a lot of epic stuff because of his voice, and then somewhere in the middle, he'll just start taking a lot of horrible roles and horrible films. And yeah, Hard Rain. That's a double disaster film.
Was it bad?
It's about
was it really
disaster. Bad? Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's
really
movie.
bad. Yeah, the basic essence is he's a like a money truck, like a Brinks, money truck armory, security, and then they're gonna and then during the rain they're robbing it, and there's also like escaped convicts, and there's like a massive rainstorm coming in, so in the middle of that they're trying to rob it, and then of course he's gonna go above and beyond his duty to stop it. It's supposed to just take the money. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's Christian Slater.
Exactly. That's when Christian Slater was going through his route of I'm gonna be an action guy, and he's doing Broken Arrow and
Broken Arrow. I like Broken Arrow though.
Hey,
Broken
I
Arrow's
like
good.
that movie too, man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, Broken Arrow's good. Broken Arrow was good. John
And,
Travolta,
this is
good.
a
Wait, you really
disaster
don't like
podcast.
Broken Arrow? I prefer Broken Arrow than a lot of other movies out there.
Broken Arrow's a rough one. That's like
Broken
that's
Arrow
like
was a good movie, man.
That's
I
a
remember liking that
barely
movie.
all right film. That's no.
That's all he has to say about that.
Just no.
So basically,
Come
you don't
on,
like Christian
man.
Slater until Mr. Robot.
I do like. Actually, I like Christian Slater. Like when he was like earlier on, I liked Heathers. I liked
Like
the
Willow.
really- He was in Willow. No, he was in Robin
wasn't
Hood.
he in Willow?
No,
I
he
believe he
Robin
was
Hood,
in
Prince
Willow.
of Thieves. He was in Willow also. I don't remember him in that movie.
I believe so.
I know Val Kilmer was in that movie. I don't remember Christian Slater. In it.
Oh, Val Kilmer. Yeah, no, you're right. It was Val Kilmer. It was Val
Christian
Kilmer.
Slater was in Robin Hood. Prince of
was Robin
Same
Hood,
guy, same guy.
Scarlet.
Wait,
He was
what?
Scarlet Will.
Nah,
Talk about some
Just
bad
kidding.
casting.
it wasn't. Where's Val Kilmer? Where's Val Kilmer right now?
That's another one, man. You know what happened?
No
He did a
idea.
Schumacher Batman film, and he hasn't recovered since. Because his Doc Holliday in Tombstone was excellent, but
Oh yeah,
He's
no,
had
that's
some-
his best. That's one of his
that's
best.
yeah. I'll be your
And in
Huckleberry.
Heat, his character in Heat, incredible.
Yeah. We
What's that
eventually have to
movie
do a
with,
Western episode.
What's that
Yeah.
movie with Christian Slater? Mobsters.
Cuffs.
You guys didn't like Mobsters?
That's another one. Christian Slater went through a span where he was getting casted for parts he should have never been casted for. It's like
Mobsters wasn't that bad, no, was it?
yeah, but he's so not 1930s Italian. Like it's like
No, but-
New York Italian. He was Lucky Luciano. Come on, man. Christian Slater, he's like young Jack Nicholson was Lucky Luciano. Like seriously. And the guy from 21 Jump Street was Bugsy.
What, Richard Grieco? Was that Richard Grieco?
No, that's another one. No, actually, I liked that movie when it was out and I was a kid, but it's not good casting. I mean, it was a fun movie for what it was, but it is not good casting. Like yeah, that wasn't his role.
So like this is
funny.
how much we like disaster film genre. So we already stopped talking about it.
We've gone on so many
Completely,
tangents. We've gone on so many
Like
tangents.
we're already talking about
so-
something else.
On that note, disaster films, a disastrous franchise. It's
Yes,
a
yes.
genre of film that's they make their money,
I think-
but that's about it.
I think the writing can
Yeah.
get better. I think the writing can get better for them.
Yeah, the hard part is usually the better ones, like The Perfect Storm, and I guess the Poseidon Adventure. That's a very popular one. I mean, we're not. They keep making it over and over again. So, but they tend to be based on true stories. You know, like the 2012s and the San Andreas and the Twisters. You know, I really like San Andreas. But Volcano, Dante's Peak, a lot of them, when they're the more fictional one, they don't have that drama to them. And then when you see the ones that have more of a true story to it, it's kind of a downer because, like that really happened. And those are, people that really
Yeah, it's
suffered.
more
And-
dramatic. It's more of the
Exactly.
drama genre.
Exactly.
Not really,
So again, those those would
disaster
fall
film.
like Perfect Storm. I think falls more into a drama than it would a disaster film because
Right,
it
right.
doesn't keep up. Like the genre of disaster film is that it's just horrible action sequences. I mean, have you guys ridden that ride in Universal Studios? Disaster film. Have you guys ridden that?
No, I remember the earthquake
Okay,
ride back
you
like,
have
15
to,
years ago. It
You
was
have
really
to.
bad.
I'm gonna fanboy right now. Because number one, Christopher Walken's in it. It's awesome. He's like the director, like a cheesy film director you got to deal with.
my.
Yeah, so you deal with the whole thing with that, and just everything about it is awesome. The Rock is in it, which is just a whole thing with that too. I don't want to ruin it because it's a real funny part of that ride because it's The Rock. I mean, you just got to see it. It's actually pretty funny. And what they do is they do a lot of green screening, and then they include it in the ride from Earthquake. So it's still the Earthquake ride, but they just kind of changed up.
Okay.
Yeah, so you still do that part, but then now instead you're extras in a film instead of experiencing an earthquake. You're actually extras in a crappy disaster film. Is the concept of the ride now. So it makes it a lot more entertaining. You laugh a lot more and enjoy it better because of that. Yeah. So they did a smart move with that, but that's what it is. Like even they acknowledge like, wow, these things are really bad. We know how we can save this ride. Make fun of how bad these movies are. Because even it's called Mother Nature. It's like Mother Nature. Like there's a whole thing with that. It's hilarious. So
That's funny.
So yeah. On that note, disastrous films, disastrous genre.
And, you keep giving Poseidon Adventure a lot of pop on this podcast, so that movie better be that movie better be at least decent.
Which one? That's the whole thing. They made like 7 of them.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go watch Poseidon.
I say watch someone. I say watch one with Gene Hackman or the one with Kurt Russell and nothing in between. I don't think anything.
Okay.
I don't think anything in between those is gonna be worth watching.
I'll take it. I'll take that.
Wow, we actually ended up having a nerdcessity then. That is not a. I'm gonna say it now. That is not a necessity because I am not putting my stamp on those movies at all. Those are not Omega approved. Yo Peace is taking it upon himself because they got mentioned too many times for his comfort to go ahead and watch them. But that is not a necessity. I repeat, that is not a necessity. None of these films are a necessity. I guess that's it. We all survived. And we hope everyone else survives what's left of this nuisance and annoying storm situation. And as always, you can reach us at Twitter, at FanCorrect.
FanCorrect.
Fanatically Correct on Facebook, of course. Or email us at contactfancor, FANCOR, @gmail.com. And closing out. Peace.
Peace out.
Peters.
And there you have it, folks. This has been Fanatically Correct. Until next time, you crazy kids. Signing off.